Food is an essential part of survival, and it's no different in prison. That being said, there are some slight differences. In prison, food is more than something just to be eaten. The food itself is a currency. It can give a prisoner worth in the eyes of the others. If you're a prisoner working in the kitchen, you have access to a lot of things that the others would not. And because a kitchen is so busy, especially a kitchen feeding over 100 people per day, it's easy for things to go missing, or for people to not have seen something. Different things in the kitchen will have different values. Obviously, the closer it is to contraband, the more valuable it is. But contraband is a dangerous game, and not something a prisoner wants to get caught up in. Getting caught with contraband is a one-way trip to a worse prison, but a handful of ketchup packets, well, those go missing all the time. You might be asking yourself, ketchup packets? Why ketchup packets? In prison, finding a ketchup packet is like finding $1. So imagine you find a fistful of them. Suddenly you have a way to pay your debts, and all your creditors know that as well. Because of this fact, you develop prison vision very quickly. You become keenly aware of an object's value. The next step is taking it. How does one get something out of a secure place with eyes and cameras everywhere? You have to pick your moment and set up a couple distractions. It's easy to distract people in prison. Nobody wants to be there. Everybody wants to be thinking of something else. So you wait and listen and watch. On the reverse side, as a prison officer, you start to develop your own prison vision. You start to see their experience in your own work. You start to understand why they are the way they are. That it's hard to be beaten and rolled around, being played with and manipulated like a piece of meat. Like breading or flour, these experiences stick to them and they can't get away from it. As an officer, you know that. You know that their experience is terrible and that they had a hard go. As a person, you want to sympathize, but as an officer, you can't. Because you know that's part of the game, that's part of the distraction. All they need to do is take your focus away from what you're doing and off of somebody else. That's when the magic starts. That's when your prison eyes start to open. It's all about the subtleties, creating a distraction that won't get you in trouble but will take the focus of the guards away. The timing is essential. They have to have their backs turned to you for just a split second. Before they can fix or notice what you just did, you get them talking again. Then it's back to waiting and listening.
Yeah, that's how you make a prisoner, all right.
The moment arrives.
The squalor, the filth.
It's now or never.
The abandonment, the rejection. These are all based on theories. The wee dumbass left it on max heat. You don't leave it on max heat. Medium is all the effect you need. It should go higher than medium.
And just like that, that jar of flour is gone.
Don't send a boy to do a man's job, I suppose.
The chef's now far too busy to notice the flour going missing. He's far too busy trying to unscrew the mess. For the prisoner, now the dangerous part of the job starts. Now it's back into the frying pan. From here on out, the risk only gets higher and higher. It's exceptionally hard to know if you've gotten away with stealing anything in there. The pressure and the heat might just cook you in the end. You might accidentally give yourself away. The guard version of prisoner vision is easier to explain by thinking about it like tools and techniques for cooking. It's as if we're visually pan-frying them every time they look or talk to us. After we finish frying them, we let them sit for a bit, just to see what they'll do. They might try to hide their ill-gotten goods, or even hand it off to another prisoner. Next comes the trick accusation. Now, the trick accusation is pretty difficult, because you have to be relatively sure that they've done something, or you have to know them as what's called a known quantity. What a known quantity is a person with a repetitive set of behaviors. The actual trick is getting them to self-incriminate. We give them a bit of a squeeze by making a joke about potentially their stealing before, and then we gauge the reaction. We pick out little things like stance, eye movement, change of tone. If we know, or we think we have one, then we move on to the grater, and we start chipping away until either they admit it, or they put it on someone else. Once they spill the details, we put them right back in the frying pan. We put them back in the frying pan to see what else will bubble up, and more importantly, to see if anybody else will succumb to the heat. Because it's never just one. Next comes the strainer, because we have to separate the truth from the cover stories and alibis. They have to make sure that it never comes back to their creditors. because if it does, they'll do a lot worse to them than we will. Sometimes we really gotta butter them up to get them to talk to us. Just like how they run their game on us, they know that we're running our game on them. They know that working with the guards and the prison itself will stick to them far worse than anything else they've ever done. But every now and again we butter them up so much that they can't stay hidden. Once we know we got them, we put them back in the frying pan one more time. We make sure the story is fully cooked, and just like that, justice is served.